Hello everyone. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about the future for the profession and the direction for HR. I've often looked at financial services as one of the most interesting industries, probably the one that's arguably being most disrupted, all the way from the effects of technology in the sector, obviously the Brexit debates, which I know is very current in many people's minds and what that might mean, the continued challenge of things like access to skills, the big debates about culture and behaviour and so forth. So it's a really fascinating sector and always has been. And I certainly have seen a lot of fantastic evidence in recent years about how we as a profession are really stepping up to many of these big challenges in the sector. Certainly, as I look at all of the future of work and all of these debates, these are the things that are going to shape what we do as a profession going forwards. I've said many times, and many other people have said, this is an incredible time of opportunity for HR, and I think businesses everywhere, regulators, governments, policymakers and so forth, all talking more and more about what have we got to do to make sure that organisations are adaptable, agile, resilient for the future, getting the very best out of their people, and making sure that as they create working environments, that those are good for people as well in terms of their well-being and many other aspects that we know are so important, and what I've often described as putting humanity back into work. What it means, therefore, for our focus as a profession going forward is some different things as well. Certainly expanding in many ways our role to understand work from all its different dimensions. You know, we've done a lot around talent management and the whole recruiting and progression and exiting cycle and so on. But it's also, of course, about how we really work proactively with business leaders on everything from how we create really good corporate cultures where people have their voice, where we are addressing perhaps poor behaviours of the past and able to challenge on those things, through to how do we design organisations and design jobs and roles that are good for people. And I think those agendas are really fascinating because we know whatever we think of the future today is almost certainly going to be different. We can't predict all of the jobs of the future. Technology is a hugely disruptive force now in work. So we've got to make sure that we've got all the fundamentals, that we've got a good organisational model that is able to adapt and shift as the needs of the business adapt and shift, that we can attract and retain people with all sorts of different skills and not just always in the traditional employment model, but many other models besides, whether those be contractors or contingent workers or whatever, that we can create far more flexible working environments which by themselves then become more inclusive, because we know that the agendas around things like inclusion are not just ones of social responsibility, although of course they're important in that context, but they are fundamentally good for business, because we know in businesses we've got to be able to attract and retain people from all kinds of backgrounds, recruiting from very different talent pools in order to address not only the skill shortages we face, but creating cultures where you've got difference which comes together to challenge perhaps the prevailing norms that we've seen so much in the past, which is driven an awful lot by having perhaps organisations that are too uniform in their makeup. So we've got all those kinds of big agendas, from the culture, the organisational design, new workforce models, strategic workforce planning that really has to think ahead about where are we going to get the capabilities we need and what are our options in terms of how we create that workforce for the future, that we're then enabling good practices and all the people management stuff that we've traditionally done, from how we recruit fairly, and how we create flexible and inclusive work environments and the cultures that support them, how we train managers effectively, and how ultimately, of course, all that leads to productive outcomes for business. So these are incredible times of opportunity, as I've said. And the other thing that therefore I would touch on is what do we need to do to invest in ourselves to build for that future? And I've said it many times, I think sometimes our profession has been rather the cobbler's children. We've worried an awful lot about everybody else in terms of their skills and capabilities, but we haven't always invested enough in ourselves. And we really do need to, because the context that's shifting around many of these aspects of the changing nature of work, the changing nature of the workforce, and the changing nature of the workplace are our professional context. They really are the things that we need to understand as we help to shape the organisations of the future, and building the evidence that supports all of that. So what we're doing as the CIPD, as the professional body for HR, is to try to pull all of these ideas together in many things, but particularly now in the new profession map, which we've just launched at the annual conference last week in Manchester. And that new profession map is a way of understanding and articulating what are the skills and capabilities we need as HR professionals to be what we should be, which is experts in people, work and change. And what is the core knowledge and behaviours that really need to drive all of what we do. We have to move away from a world which has perhaps been rather prescribed, where we say, well, this is best practice, or this is what everybody else does, so that's what we'll do, to a world which is much more based on good evidence and real insight and understanding, and then knowledge that can drive the right interventions in the context in which we're operating. So the Profession Map calls these ideas out. It says at the very heart, we've got to understand our purpose as a profession. What are we here to do? And we talk about this idea of championing better work and working lives. The core knowledge, which includes things like understanding data, understanding evidence, certainly understanding, of course, behavioural science and things of that nature, but also on into areas like ethical competence and what it takes to make the right judgments in every situation, and giving us the confidence where we need to challenge as well. And then through that into, of course, the specialisms that we have across our profession, which we will continue to add to. So we have a lot of the new or newer specialisms and things like data and analytics and well-being, which we need to continue to evolve alongside the more traditional specialisms that we've had in things like resourcing and reward and learning and development and so on. So we're very excited about all of that. It's certainly, I believe, what we're trying to do to help the profession move forwards in terms of understanding its skills and capabilities and really taking up the baton on these fantastic challenges and opportunities that we have. And I think as and when we do all of these things, we will certainly assure our long-term future in supporting businesses to be more responsible, more effective, more productive, and certainly, of course, making sure that we are doing the right things for people so that we're putting humanity back into work and ultimately, of course, the human back into human resources.